We're speaking with Mike Boland, who on February 2nd came in 4th place in the Democratic primary as he was running for lieutenant governor. As most people would know, the winner in that race, Scott Lee Cohen, was disqualified. And now the Democratic State Central Committee will be meeting probably in the middle of March to decide who the Democratic nominee for governor will be. And Mike Boland, you're still in the running. You're still a Democratic hopeful for lieutenant governor, right?
It's the campaign that never ends.
So just tell me this. Art Turner, he came in 2nd. Yeah, some people would look at race and say he's African American, and they'd say, you know, this is an important thing that one, the guy in 2nd, put aside race, should probably be the person chosen if the first person is disqualified. 2, they say the African American community is very important. It's kind of a snub if they go to somebody. The 3rd place finisher, Ricky Hendon, he also is African American. So you want him to bypass Turner, bypass Hendon, and go to you, the 4th place finisher. Explain that to me and explain how you say to the African American community they're not being slighted.
Well, they're not being slighted because we have 3 African Americans already on the statewide ticket, and that's great. And I have no problem with more of them, and I like Art Turner and I like Ricky Hendon very much, and they're good people and they're well qualified. But I'm saying is that in this election, when the Republican side has 3 downstaters and we have 0
and that's
on our Democratic
Jason
side.
Plummer running for lieutenant governor, and likely to be Bill Brady. He's likely to be the candidate for governor. And you've got Dan Rutherford running for state treasurer.
State treasurer. And so if they have 3, we have 0. That's saying to the downstaters, you're not important to us. You know, we can't just write off a whole section of the state.
And you're from East Moline, which is somewhat south but more west. But your important point, the point you make is this is a cultural thing about being
It's a cultural thing. It's a different world.
Outside of the collar counties, outside of Chicago and Cook County, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's a land of farms and small towns and medium-sized cities. You know, it's a different mindset than what are the situations in the suburbs or even in the city.
And on the issues, you take somewhat different positions than Governor, now Governor Pat Quinn, but you're saying that's good because you'll be the person in the inner circle to raise these issues, make him more aware sometimes of differences that exist around the state. On taxes, he's been pushing for taxes, you voted no. You said you might support him. You'll have to take the cue from the governor, but you're still saying you can raise these issues in a way that others can't.
Absolutely, and what I would emphasize to anybody running for governor is first show the people you have made all the necessary cuts, not in essential programs that people want, the things like child abuse programs or education or healthcare, those type of things, but make them in the areas where they can see that you, the politicians, are sacrificing, and then you go to a tax increase if it's necessary.
But as we said, about 2/3 of the spending in Illinois comes from healthcare, Medicaid, and education, and another 20% or so in health service, in human services. So you're probably going to have to make some cuts in education, healthcare, and human services that are going to hurt if you're dealing with an $11 billion deficit. You agreed?
No, I don't agree. There's some things you have to do. For example, in the healthcare area, we should be moving to managed care. It's not something that anybody likes, but in one sense, it actually can be good for the patients because they will emphasize preventive care, they will emphasize early intervention, they will save money in the long run.
Anyway, but on the education side, you don't think you can deal with the deficit without making any significant cuts in education?
I believe we should hold the spending on education, but what we can do is look for efficiency there as well. We shouldn't have 840 some school districts and this crazy quilt of K through 8 and 9 through 12 and unit districts K through 12. We ought to do like other states, move to a unified system, cut the number of those districts, especially there shouldn't be any, like in my area where you have 5 elementary districts going into 1 high school district, all that bureaucracy, all that administrative stuff that could be saved and actually either save for the taxpayers or get it into the classroom, one or the other.
All right, that's all we have time for on this mini version of Public Affairs. I want to thank our guest, Mike Boland, who is in a sense still running as of February 21st for Lieutenant Governor, to be the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor. Thanks so much, Mike, for coming out here.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much.
And you can watch that whole show. If you want to see the longer version, just go to youtube.com/user/Public Affairs TV. Watch the 30-minute version of the interview with Mike Boland. Thank you so much. Come back next week and every week to see the short version and the long version of Public Affairs.